Did you know Messi has already signed his farewell from football? That he renewed until 2028 wasn't a coincidence. That he chose Miami for the end wasn't either. And that he won't put on Newell's jersey again as a professional player. Well, that hurts, but it makes sense when you see the complete plan. Because while half the world expected to see him retire in Rosario, wearing Lepra's jersey with Parque Independencia in tears, Messi designed something different. An epic ending, yes, but an American one. At his home in Miami. In the stadium being built with his name invisible on every brick. Does it sound cold? Wait until you see the dates. Wait to understand why the 2026 World Cup is the missing piece. Wait to discover what happens when Miami Freedom Park opens that same year. In this piece you'll discover 3 things. First, you'll understand why he chose Miami over Rosario for the end. Second, you'll see the perfect timeline. World Cup, stadium, and retirement synchronized to the millimeter. And finally, third, the ending leaves you with the image. Messi lifting a trophy in his stadium before leaving. Stay until the end and you'll understand the why of everything. Last October, Inter Miami uploaded a video to social media. The camera tours the cranes of the new stadium under construction, the bare steel, fresh concrete. Messi appears sitting at an improvised desk among beams and debris, wearing a brown suit, signing papers. The scene seems like advertising, but the message is surgical: freedom 10 dream. Freedom to dream. And the 10 everyone knows. The contract he just signed ties him to the club until December 2028. 3 more years in MLS. 3 years that, if you count backwards, coincide exactly with the end of the 2026 World Cup, with the inauguration of Miami Freedom Park that same year, and with a farewell calculated to the second. The renewal leaked days before, but nobody connected the dots. Journalists talked about securing the star, about maintaining the project, about sports investment. But nobody asked why until 2028 specifically. Why not 2027? Why not 1 more year, flexible, like players usually do in their twilight? Because Messi didn't negotiate a contract. He negotiated an exit. The stadium will open in early 2026. Capacity for 25,000 people. A lightweight membrane roof. Retractable seating Bernabeu style. 58 hectares of public park around it. Shops, restaurants, hotels, offices. It's not just a stadium. It's an entertainment district. The largest in the southeast. And at the center of everything, the field where Messi will play his final official matches. But before that, there's the World Cup. The 6th of his career. Messi will arrive at 38 years old. As defending champion. Seeking to be the first to lift 2 consecutive cups as captain. Just 3 goals from matching Miroslav Klose as the all-time World Cup top scorer. 2 assists from surpassing Pelé. And with the installed question, will he play or not? Because Messi hasn't confirmed it. He said he's going day by day, that he needs to feel good, that this year he felt very good, but you have to be realistic. He talks to Scaloni. Scaloni tells him he'd love to have him, from whatever position suits him. Messi responds that he hopes he can be there, that he'd love to, that if not he'll be watching it live. But it all sounds the same: public uncertainty, private certainty. Why sign until 2028 if you're not sure you'll make it to 2026? Why renew 3 years if your body can't handle 3 months? Something doesn't add up. And what doesn't add up is the official narrative. Because Messi knows exactly when he's leaving. He just can't say it yet. Rewind. July 2023. Messi arrives in Miami. The historic signing. 82 official matches later, he has 71 goals and 36 assists. He won the League's Cup. He won the Supporters' Shield. He took Inter Miami from being last place to being the best team of the regular season. His average, almost a goal per game. A hat-trick against New England Revolution. 5 assists in a single match against New York Red Bulls. Brace in the Supporters' Shield final. The numbers are obscene. But what matters isn't what he did, it's what he made clear. That he can dominate MLS even at this age. That his body still responds when he takes care of it. That the pace of the American League allows him to stretch the rope 2 more years than he would have managed in Europe. Because in Europe there was no place for him anymore. Not at that level. Not with that schedule. 35 matches per season in Spain. 40 in England. 50 if you go far in Champions League. In Miami, he plays 34 in the regular season. And if he qualifies for playoffs, add 10 more. Fewer trips. Less physical pressure. More control over his workload. But also more injuries. August 2024. Minor muscle injury in his right leg during a Leagues Cup match against Necaxa. He missed several commitments. The medical report was vague. His availability will depend on his clinical evolution and response to treatment. Translation: we don't know when he'll return. And when he returned, he came back at half speed. Entered from the bench. Played 45 minutes here, 60 there. Planned rotation. Mandatory rest. The body isn't the same anymore. And Messi knows it better than anyone. That's why he said last September, after his last match with Argentina at home in El Monumental, that it was clear it was the last qualifying match in his country. 2 goals against Venezuela. Eternal ovation. Emotional though unofficial farewell. "I'll keep all the good things," he said. And when asked about the World Cup, the answer was calculatedly ambiguous. "This is day by day, trying to feel good. I'll be honest with myself." But if he was being honest with himself, why did he renew until 2028? Why 2 more years beyond the World Cup if the question is whether he'll make it to the World Cup? Because the plan doesn't end at the World Cup. It starts there. The easy version says Messi will retire at Newell's. That it's what he always wanted. That he said it 1,000 times. "My childhood dream was to play in Newell's first team," he recently declared. "I'll return because it's what I want," he confirmed in another interview. Gabriel Hines has no doubts Messi will retire at Newell's. Juanjo Buscalia, Argentine journalist, insists on the same. "Messi is Argentine, he's from Rosario, he'll retire wearing La Lepra's jersey." That's the story people want to believe. The hero who returns home. The boy who scored 234 goals in Newell's youth teams and never played in the first team because the club couldn't pay for his growth treatment. Who left for Barcelona at 13. Who conquered the world. Who won everything. And who in the end, like in the movies, closes the circle wearing the red and black colors at Parque Independencia. It's a beautiful story. And it's a lie. The reality is that Messi chose Miami. Not as a parenthesis before Rosario. As the end. And the reason isn't sentimental. It's structural. Because in Rosario there isn't a stadium of 25,000 people waiting for him. There isn't a $350 million project with his name at the center. There isn't a team that has built a golden era around him. There isn't a contract that allows him to control his physical load, rotate when he needs to, play 30 matches a year instead of 50. And above all, there's no time. Because if Messi finishes the 2026 World Cup and returns to Argentina to play for Newell's, how long does that last? 6 months? A year? With what body? With what knees? At 39 years old, after having played a complete World Cup, after having forced every muscle trying to lift the 2nd consecutive cup, does anyone really believe he has anything left for a romantic farewell in the Argentine Superliga? He doesn't. And he knows it. That's why he renewed until 2028 in Miami. That's why the signing video was filmed in the middle of stadium construction. That's why the message was, "Freedom 10 Dream." Because the farewell is already programmed. And it's not in Rosario. Inter Miami currently plays at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, almost 50 kilometers from Miami. Capacity, 20,000 spectators. It's a borrowed stadium. Functional, but borrowed. Since Messi arrived, tickets sell out in minutes. Television audience skyrocketed. Media impact was global. But the club always knew that wasn't the final destination. The final destination is Miami Freedom Park. And the exact moment of inauguration isn't an accident. Early 2026. The same year as the World Cup. The World Cup that's played in June and July. The World Cup where Messi, if he finally confirms, will play his last tournament with Argentina. And after that, he'll return to Miami. To his home. To the stadium that waited for him. That's the timeline. World Cup in mid-2026. Stadium inauguration in early 2026 or late 2025. Complete 2026 MLS season in the new venue. 2027 season. And 2028 season, the last one. With programmed farewell. With final match. With trophy, if everything goes well. And with the image that will remain forever. Messi lifting something in the stadium that has his invisible story engraved on every seat. Jorge Mas, Inter Miami owner, made it clear when they announced the updated stadium plans. We're looking forward to writing new chapters in our Miami Freedom Park Stadium. David Beckham, co-owner, added, Miami Freedom Park is the culmination of years of hard work and the desire to realize a vision and create a lasting legacy. Legacy. That word isn't casual. Because legacy isn't built with a player who stays 2 years and leaves. It's built with someone who closes their career there. And Messi closed his career there. He already decided. It just remains for him to finish telling it. If this seems like a theory to you, look at Messi's statements after his last match in Argentina. It's clear it was the last qualifying match here, he said. Qualifying. Official. He didn't say, the last match with the national team. He left the door open for friendlies. For controlled farewells. For a ceremonial closing if needed. But the underlying message was transparent. The competitive stage in Argentina ended. And Newell's? That's where the pain is. Because Messi never lied when he said he wanted to play for Lepra. He meant it. He felt it. But wanting something and being able to do it are different things. And at some point between Barcelona, PSG, the Qatar World Cup and arriving in Miami, the window for Newell's closed. It wasn't a cruel decision. It was a practical one. Because returning to Argentina at 39 or 40 years old, after the wear of the 2026 World Cup, would have been a sad farewell. A part-time Messi. Injured every 3 matches. Coming off the bench in a stadium that waited 30 years to see him. That's not the image Messi wants to leave. And honestly, it's not what Newell's deserves either. So he chose Miami, where he can control the pace, where he can play when his body allows it, where he can retire in a new stadium, in a project he helped build, surrounded by a team that won titles with him and not just because of him. 2026 starts with Miami Freedom Park construction finished. The cranes disappear. The grass is planted. The seats are installed. The retractable seating is tested for the first time. The lightweight membrane roof stretches over the structure. And sometime between February and March, Inter Miami plays its first official home match. Messi enters the field. 38 years old. 2 Copa Americas in his body. 1 World Cup. 46 titles in his career. And for the first time in his professional life, he inaugurates a stadium that was specifically waiting for him. Not Camp Nou, where he arrived as a teenager. Not Parc des Princes, where he was passing through. In Miami. In his stadium. In the place he chose to end. The season progresses. 34 regular season matches. Messi plays when he can. Rests when he needs to. Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba accompany him. The Big Four that transformed Inter Miami from an invisible team into a global project. They win matches, qualify for playoffs, fight for the MLS Cup, and then, in June, the World Cup. United States, Mexico and Canada as hosts. Argentina as defending champion. Messi as captain, probably for the last time. The 6th World Cup of his career. The chance to make history, being the first to win 2 consecutive cups as leader. The possibility of reaching close in goals. Of surpassing Pelé in assists. Does he play well? Does he arrive whole? Does he last 90 minutes? Those are the questions Messi dodges every time they're asked. Day by day, he repeats. Being honest with myself. But he already renewed until 2028. He already signed in the stadium under construction. He already made clear the end isn't in Argentina. So why keep playing the mystery? Because mystery sells. Because uncertainty maintains attention. Because if Messi confirms today that the 2026 World Cup is his last tournament with the national team and that he'll retire in Miami in 2028 afterwards, the narrative loses tension. And Messi, who has spent 20 years managing his image with surgical precision, knows exactly when to reveal each card. So the plan remains hidden. But all the pieces are on the table. The stadium opens in 2026. Messi plays the World Cup that same year, returns to Miami afterward, completes the 2026 season, plays 2027, and in 2028, the last of the contract, he says goodbye. Not with a cold statement, not with a press conference in a hotel, with a match, in his stadium, lifting something if the team delivers, or simply walking the empty field after the final whistle, with 25,000 people standing, saying goodbye to the guy who chose Miami to close the story. That's the image Messi designed. And that's the reason Newell's was left out. Not for lack of love, for lack of time, for lack of body. Because sometimes choosing well is choosing the possible instead of the romantic. The renewal video ends with Messi signing the contract surrounded by cement and steel. The camera pulls away. The cranes keep working. The stadium keeps growing. And the final phrase, "Freedom 10 Dream," remains floating on screen. Freedom to dream. But also to leave when you decide. Not when the body collapses. Not when an Argentine club can't sustain you. When the plan is complete. When the stadium is ready. When the last season of the contract closes and the farewell is already written. Messi isn't going to retire in Rosario. He's going to retire in Miami. In 2028. In the stadium he inaugurated in 2026. After the World Cup he played that same year. And when that moment comes, when he walks for the last time on that field with the pink and black Inter Miami jersey, the image won't be sad. It will be epic. Because he chose his ending. And he chose it perfectly. But there's a silent factor that explains the impossible. One I haven't told you about yet. And that factor changes everything you think you know about why Miami and not Argentina. About why 2028 and not earlier. About what happens when a player doesn't just plan his retirement, but negotiates the complete script of his exit 3 years in advance. And you're going to discover that in the second part. But there's a detail nobody saw in that contract. A detail that isn't in the written clauses, but is in the design of each date. Because when Messi signed until 2028, he didn't just sign 3 more years of football. He signed a schedule. A perfect calendar where each event fits with the next as if someone had been planning it for 5 years. And that someone was him. Look at the dates again. World Cup in June 2026. Stadium inauguration at the beginning of that year. Messi's return to Miami after the tournament. Complete season in the new venue. Another season in 2027. And closing in 2028. Everything seems logical. Everything seems natural. But there's a crack in the logic. Why exactly until 2028? Why not until 2027, which would have been enough to play 2 complete seasons in the new stadium? Why add that extra year? The answer is in what happens that year. And no, it's not another World Cup. It's not another Copa America. It's something much quieter. Much more private. 2028 is the year Miami Freedom Park completes its commercial development. The year the spaces around the stadium finish being built. The year the project goes from being a sports venue to being a complete district. And Messi wants to be there for that. Because his farewell isn't just a match, it's the inauguration of a physical legacy that will survive him. The stadium opens in 2026, yes. But only the field. The stands. The pitch. The roof. The basics to play. The restaurants, shops, public spaces, entertainment areas. All of that is completed in phases. And the final phase, the one that closes the complete project, is scheduled for 2028. Right when Messi finishes his contract. Right when he leaves. Right when the stadium can function without him because everything is already built. It's not coincidence, and now you'll see why. Inter Miami didn't sign Messi to sell jerseys for 2 years. They signed him to build a project that would last decades. And Messi didn't accept going to Miami to retire quietly. He accepted because he saw the opportunity to design his exit from football with the same precision he designed his career. Choose where, when, and how to leave. And he couldn't do that in Rosario. He couldn't do it in Barcelona. He could only do it in a place where everything was yet to be built. Where he could be part of the design from scratch. And Miami was exactly that. A club under construction. A stadium under construction. A project under construction. And Messi as the centerpiece that made all the construction possible. So, is the 2026 World Cup his last tournament with Argentina? Probably. Messi hinted at it when he said his last official qualifying match in Argentina already passed. That he's going day by day. That he has to be honest with himself. But he didn't confirm it. Because confirming the end ahead of time is losing control of the narrative. And Messi never loses control. But look at what is confirmed. The contract until 2028. The stadium opening in 2026. The renewal signed in the middle of construction. And the phrase Jorge Mas, Inter Miami co-owner, repeated when they announced the venue plans, this stadium is for the next generations. Next generations. Not for Messi. Because the stadium is going to survive Messi. And Messi knows it. And that's why he designed his exit to coincide with the moment the project can continue alone. That's what nobody saw in the contract. That it's not a player's contract, it's a founder's contract. Of someone who arrived to build something that surpasses him. And when he leaves, that something keeps standing. The easy version says Messi chose Miami for comfort. For the climate. For the quiet life. For being away from European pressure. For playing in a more physically accessible league. And all of that is true. But it's the superficial truth. The one anyone can see. The reality is that Messi chose Miami because it was the only place where he could control the ending. In Barcelona he couldn't. The club was broke when he left. In PSG neither. It was someone else's project, with someone else's objectives. In Argentina even less. Newell doesn't have the infrastructure to sustain the physical and media impact of his return. But Miami does. Because Miami was built around him from day one. And when I say, around him, I'm not just talking about football. I'm talking about everything. That the stadium they're building was designed thinking Messi was going to play there. That the construction calendar was adjusted so it would be ready right after the 2026 World Cup. That every strategic decision of the club since he arrived points to the same objective. Build a legacy that transcends 90 minutes. See the difference? In Barcelona, Messi was the star of a historic project. In Miami, Messi is the project. The stadium exists because he arrived. The commercial district exists because he arrived. The global impact of the club exists because he arrived. And when he leaves, all of that will remain standing as a physical reminder that he was there. That can't be done anywhere else. Only in a place where everything started with you. And that's why 2028. Because that year the project is complete. The stadium functions. The team has its own structure. The league grew around the impact his arrival generated. And Messi can leave knowing that what he built doesn't collapse when he goes. Because it no longer depends on him. That's the reality. And that's the reason he never returned to Newell's. Because in Rosario it would have been a romantic farewell, yes, but fleeting. 6 months, a year, and then the body can't take it anymore. And then what? Then nothing. Then the memory of having seen him play there, but without anything physical to sustain it. Without a stadium to remember him. Without a project that continues. In Miami, on the other hand, the memory is permanent. The stadium remains. The district remains. The impact on MLS remains. And Messi remains engraved in American football history as the guy who arrived to transform everything. Not as the guy who came for a stroll. 2026 starts with Messi in his best physical moment in 2 years. Because after the injuries of mid-2024, the body responded. Planned rotation. Mandatory rest. Personalized training. And a key fact, in MLS, unlike Europe, Messi can choose when to play. When the team faces lesser rivals, he rests. When an important match arrives, he's there. And that takes him to the World Cup with intact legs. Not with knees destroyed from having played 60 matches in a year. With 35, well distributed. With controlled load. With the body prepared for one last big effort. The tournament starts in June. Argentina plays the group stage. Messi is on the field. 38 years old. Captain. Defending champion. and with an installed question in each match. Is this his last World Cup? The answer never comes. Because Messi keeps dodging it. Day by day, he repeats in conferences. We'll see. But every gesture, every play, every assist seems like an anticipated farewell. Argentina advances. Round of 16. Quarters. Semi-finals. And Messi is still there. Playing 90 minutes when necessary. Resting when he can. Leading when the team needs it. And sometime between the semi-final and final, the world starts to understand this is the end. That win or lose, that he lifts the cup or not, this is Messi's last tournament with the light blue and white. And that changes everything. Because if Argentina reaches the final, if Messi has the chance to lift 2 consecutive cups as captain, the moment stops being just about sports. It becomes historic. Epic. The perfect closing of a perfect career. But even if he doesn't reach the final, even if Argentina falls earlier, the 2026 World Cup remains engraved as Messi's farewell from the national team. And after that, he returns to Miami. To his home. To the stadium that waited for him. And there the final countdown begins. Complete 2026 season at Miami Freedom Park. First year in the new stadium. 34 regular season matches. Playoffs if they qualify. And Messi playing each match as if it were the last. Because they are. All of them are. Each one brings him closer to the farewell he already has programmed for 2028. The 2027 season is more of the same. Fewer matches, probably. More rotation. More rest. But he's still there. Still the face of the project. Still filling the stadium. Still making every ticket sell out in minutes. Because people know few matches remain. That every time Messi enters that field, there's one less match until the end. And then 2028 arrives. The last season. The one that closes everything. And here's where the plan becomes visible. Because Messi isn't going to retire in just any match. He's not going to hang up his boots after a first-round playoff defeat. He's not going to leave mid-season because the body can't take it anymore. He's going to leave lifting something. And that something is calculated to the millimeter. Inter Miami won the Supporters' Shield in 2024. Finished first in the regular phase. Best MLS team in 34 match days. And that wasn't coincidence. It was the first big title of the project. The one that marked that the team no longer depended only on Messi to win, but that Messi was part of a winning team. And in 2028, the last season, the objective is the same. Win the MLS Cup. The title that's missing. The one that closes the project. The one that allows Messi to leave lifting a trophy in his stadium, in front of his people, in the home he helped build. Is it guaranteed? No. Football guarantees nothing. But the plan does. The plan is to arrive in 2028 with a competitive team. With a squad that can fight for the title. With Messi on the field when necessary and from the bench when not. And with the real possibility that, in December of that year, Inter Miami plays the MLS Cup Final at Miami Freedom Park. And if that happens, the image that closes Messi's career isn't a press release. It's not a tearful press conference. It's not a last match lost against a lesser rival. It's Messi lifting a trophy in his stadium, in front of 25,000 people who came to see him for the last time. With the team he built, in the project he designed. Closing a circle that started the day he signed that contract in the middle of construction. That's the image Messi designed for his farewell. And that's the reason 2028 isn't a random year. It's the year when everything fits. The stadium is complete. The project is consolidated. The team can win the title. And Messi can leave knowing he left something bigger than himself. And whether you win or lose that title, the image remains epic. Because what matters isn't the trophy itself, it's the moment. It's the farewell in the right place. In the right stadium. With the right people. In the right year. That's what Messi negotiated when he signed until 2028. Not 3 more years of football. A designed closing. A perfect ending. An exit that remains engraved in collective memory not as the twilight of a star, but as the culmination of a historic project. And that's why Miami. That's why not Rosario. That's why not Barcelona. Because only in Miami could he have that control. Only there could he design each variable. Only there could he leave when he decided, in the place he chose, lifting what he built. The 2026 World Cup is the closing with Argentina. 2028 is the closing with clubs. And between those two moments, Messi is going to write the last chapter of his career exactly as he planned it. In his home, in his stadium, with his team, and with the farewell he deserves. Because he chose his ending. And he chose it perfectly. And when that day comes, when Messi walks for the last time on the grass of Miami Freedom Park, the image won't be sad. It will be epic. Because it will be the only time in football history that a player retires exactly where, when and how he designed it. Without the body forcing him to stop. Without a club throwing him out. Without circumstances dragging him. By his own decision. By his own design. By absolute control of his narrative. That's the truth behind the contract until 2028. That's the reason he renewed in the middle of stadium construction. And that's the image that will remain. Messi lifting something in the place he built to say goodbye.